I ain't gonna have no baby. Shit, I'm old. He old. I don't know what he talking about. I ain't finna have no baby. And when the Lord said, I heard you back there laughing. You gonna have a baby this time next year. I didn't laugh. That wasn't me. That was the men of Sodom, both young and old, surrounded the house and all the men from every quarter. Where are the men who came to you tonight? Bring them out here to us so that we may know them intimately. Whoa. Put a stop to this. I don't know what's start over. Like, what do you mean? Y'all not catching it. They already said what they want to do to the visitor. They basically say, if you don't move out the way, we gonna do you worse than we gonna do them. Hold on. Welcome back, family, to yet another Bible study. We are picking up at Genesis 18 after last week. We got through our first ever recorded biblical history of baby mama drama. A bunch of nonsense that Sarai brought on herself and Abram brought on himself. And sometimes, man, it not even sometimes, all the time, it's hard waiting on God's time. It's challenging waiting on God's time because his time is so different from ours. How he looks at seconds and milliseconds and hours and minutes is different from how we look at it. So when we're sitting here waiting for him, waiting for him, we should do what waiters do and not serve so that we can pass the time. We should be in service to other people. But most of the time, we're only in service to ourselves. We're only thinking about, how do I benefit from this? What do I gain from this? What do I get from this? And when I is involved, Satan sees that you're isolated, and then he just starts coming in and starts putting all type of stuff in your mind. Imagine hearing God directly, clearly say you're going to have a child. And just because of your age, not the fact that God promised you, not the fact that God has been showing you who he is for all these years, you still find a way to doubt him. And so you come up with your own plan. How many of us are doing that? Coming up with our own plans and then putting ourselves in bad situations that then God has to fix later on because of our impatience, our disobedience, our inability to follow and listen to whatever God has given us. Right? And this is what we've been learning through the book of Genesis, this patient, loving, gracious, merciful, forgiving God that is constantly fixing our mess, fixing our problems. And he will give us a promise, give us the law, tell us what to do, and we will do the complete opposite. As we pick up in chapter 18, we're about to finally see the promise be fulfilled. And we're about to meet the son of Abraham. All right, Genesis 18. Now the Lord appeared to Abraham by the terebinth trees of Mamre in Hebron, while he was sitting at the tent door in the heat of the day. When he raised his eyes and looked up, behold, 3 men were standing a little distance from him. When he saw them, he ran from the tent door to meet them and bowed down with his face to the ground. And Abraham said, "My Lord, if now I have found favor in your sight, please do not pass by your servant without stopping to visit. Please let a little water be brought by one of my servants, that you may wash your feet and recline and rest comfortably under the tree. And I will bring a piece of bread to refresh and sustain you. After that, you may go on, since you have come to your servant." And they replied, "Do as you have said." So Abraham hurried into the tent to Sarah and said, "Quickly, get ready 3 measures of fine meal, kneaded and baked cakes." Abraham also ran to the herd and brought a calf, tender and choice, and he gave it to the servants to butcher. And he hurried to prepare it. Then he took curds and milk and calf, which he had prepared, and set it before the men. And he stood beside them under the tree while they ate. When they said to him, "Where is Sarah, your wife?" And he said, "They're in the tent." He said, "I will surely return to you at this time next year. And behold, Sarah, your wife, will have a son." And Sarah was listening at the tent door, which was behind him. Now, Abram and Sarah were old, well advanced in years. She was past the age of childbearing. So Sarah laughed to herself when she heard the Lord's words, saying after, "I have become old. Shall I have pleasure and delight, my Lord, being also old?" The Lord asked Abraham, Why did Sarah laugh to herself, saying, shall I really give birth to a child when I am so old? Is anything too difficult or too wonderful for the Lord? At the appointed time, when the season for her delivery comes, I will return to you and Sarah. I will return to you and Sarah will have a son. Then Sarah denied it, saying, I did not laugh, because she was afraid. And he, the Lord, said, no, but you did laugh. Now, isn't this wild? You know, we talk about the Trinity, the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. There are three men that show up here. Three beings show up here. Three persons show up here. And Abraham approaches himself. When he approaches the Lord, he knows immediately that it's the Lord. Now, I'm going to take a gander here, and I'm going to say that the persons that he's talking to, the person in front, he's talking to Jesus. We found that out in Luke, so I kind of spoiling it because we found out in Luke. Because remember when Jesus said, I was there with Abraham. I spoke to Abraham myself. So let's say if you're new here, let's just take a wild guess and say that this is Jesus, the Lord, speaking to Abraham. Abraham knows who he's talking to. He knows so much that he's like when somebody show up to your house unexpectedly and you trying to hurry up and whip your house, you know your house nasty, it's dirty, and you trying to whip that joint into a shape. That's what he doing. He trying to whip everything into shape. This man is not prepared for this. And so while they talking, Sarah hear the talk. And then she when she hear the Lord say, oh, I'm going to come back the same time this year. Sarah going to have a baby. She laughs. She like, I ain't going to have no baby. I'm old. He old. I don't know what he talking about. I ain't finna have no baby. And when the Lord said, I heard you back there laughing. You gonna have a baby this time next year. I did laugh. That wasn't me. You must have heard somebody else because that wasn't me. We lying in front of God now. That's what we doing. We lying in front of the Lord. That's what we doing. That's what we doing. Okay. What's so crazy is that when we are in doubt of something and God is like, I gave you a promise. It don't matter what your age is. It don't matter what time. You could feel like you done for. Like, man, I'm too old to be trying to grind this or go back to get my bachelor's degree or build this. And God is looking at you like, I told you to go do something. You are going to have this. So I need you to do the very thing that I told you to go do. You worried about your age. Who told you anything about your age? Who told you? Remember, I'm going to give you an even better picture. Remember when Adam and Eve was hiding from God? Let's imagine that that's laughter here. And God called them out and said, where are y'all? Adam said, we hiding from you because we naked. Who told you was naked? That's the same situation here. I gave you a promise. I gave you a plan. You laughing. Who told you was too old to have this baby? Who said that? Who told you that? If I tell you something, who told you opposite? You see what I'm saying? It's our inability to see how much God cares about us, how much he loves us, how faithful he is, because we're so faulty. He's not. He's not like man that he should lie. But because we are faulty, the world dictates how we see ourselves. So then we think that God's way of seeing us, when God says something, it's got to either fit our reality of understanding. But then God is looking at us like, you can never understand what I understand. You'll never see what I see. Yet we still don't get that concept yet. It's a wild thought process, but it's kind of crazy. Then the men got up from there and they looked towards Sodom, and Abraham walked with them to send them on the way. The Lord said, Shall I keep secret from Abraham, my friend and servant, what I am going to do? Since Abraham is destined to become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth will be blessed through him. For I have known, chosen, acknowledged him as my own. so that he may teach and command his children and the sons of his household after him to keep the way of the Lord by doing what is righteous and just, so that the Lord may bring upon Abraham what he has promised. And the Lord said, the outcry of the sin of Sodom and Gomorrah is indeed great, and their sin is exceedingly grave. I will go down now and see whether they have acted as vilely and wickedly as the outcry which has come to me indicates, and if not, I will know. Now the two men, angelic beings, turned away from there and went toward Sodom, but Abraham remained standing before the Lord. Now, mind you, God is just passing, like the Lord is just passing through, okay? He's passing through. He's stopping to come see Abraham. But he's stopping to come see Abraham because he already told him, hey, I'm going to make you a people, a great nation and stuff like that. So should I not come into... So since I gave you that promise, I'm finna tell you what's finna happen to them over there. I'm going over there because I didn't heard about this, about the sin that's going on here, right? It's not like God don't already know about it. It's just that he's going to go see for it himself. He's sending his two angelic beings to go see for it themselves, right? Abraham approached the Lord and said, will you really sweep away the righteous, those who do right, with the wicked, those who do evil? Abram is about to ask some very specific questions, and I want you to see how patient Yahweh is. Suppose there are 50 righteous people within the city. Will you really sweep it away and not spare it for the sake of the 50 righteous who are in it? Far be it from you to do such a thing, to strike the righteous with the wicked, so that the righteous and the wicked are treated alike. Far be it from you. Shall not the judge of all the earth do right by executing just and righteous judgment? So the Lord said, if I find within the city of Sodom 50 righteous people, then I will spare the entire place for their sake. Abram answered, now behold, I who am but dust in origin and ashes have decided to speak to the Lord. If 5 of the 50 righteous are lacking, will you destroy the entire city for the lack of 5? And he said, if I find at least 45 righteous people there, I will not destroy it. Abraham spoke to him yet again and said, suppose only 40 are found there. And he said, I will not do it for the sake of the 40 who are righteous. Then Abraham said to him, oh, may the Lord not be angry. I will speak. Suppose 30 righteous people are found there. And he said, I will not do it if I find 30 there. And he said, now behold, I have decided to speak to the Lord again. Suppose only 20 righteous people are found there. See, like he playing this, he like, look, okay. First it was 50. Now, you said that you would never, is it, Lord, would you destroy righteous people with the unjust? Like the people that's doing wrong, you would destroy 50 righteous people? Let's say there's like 5,000 people there, 10,000 people there, and it's only 50 righteous. You would destroy the 50 righteous? That's not the God I know. He said, nah, I wouldn't destroy them. If I find 50, I ain't gonna destroy them. He said, okay, what about if it's 50, but 5 of them is lacking? He said, okay, Abraham, you said 45. No, I won't destroy them. Okay, I heard you. What happened if it's only 40 people? Abraham, I won't destroy him. All right, now that's 40. That's still a number. What happened if it's only 25 of them people? Abraham, if I find 25, I'm not going to destroy him. He about to ask it again. He said 20. What if 20 people are found there? And the Lord said, I will not destroy it for the sake of the 20. And Abram said, oh, may the Lord not be angry with me. I will speak only this once. Suppose 10 righteous people are found there. And he said, I will not destroy it for the sake of the 10. As soon as he had finished speaking with Abraham, the Lord departed, and Abraham returned to his own place. Now, I want y'all to imagine if you did this to your parents. I see I already see your face right now. If you kept asking your parents about, like, okay, what happened if it's only, I know you said I could go to this place, but like, what happened if only like 40 of my friends are gonna be there? Okay, you can still go. Okay, but like, what happened if only like 30 of my friends are gonna be there? Okay, you can still go. Okay, let's just say I only had 20 people that was gonna be there, because it's supposed to be a bunch of us, but let's say only 20 people show up. Look, I just said you can go. All right, now I'm telling you can go, so stop bugging me. You're getting on my nerves now. Okay, look, don't be mad. I'm just trying to see, like, where you at. What happened if only 10 people? You getting on my nerves? Now you can't go. Go into bed. Go lay down. Go to sleep. I don't even want to look at you no more. You get on my nerves. The patience that God has, the patience that Yah has for us. Because he knows that we're beings that ask questions. He knows that we want to understand. He made us in his image. Do you see how even for us, this would be irritating? For God, it's not. So when you go to God and you're praying to him, or you're asking God about things, ask him questions. Why are you so afraid to ask God questions? Do you see that even in this lack of a non-understanding for Abraham, he don't understand. God already knows that there ain't even 5 people righteous in Sodom and Gomorrah. It's not even 5. But Abraham is playing the advocate. He's trying to be the intercessor. So he's asking questions. What happened if it's only 40, Lord? What happened if it's only 30, Lord? What if it's only 25? What if it's only 20? What's only 10? Would you still save the whole city over just for the 10 righteous? He said, yeah, if I find 10. If I find 10. You see, he didn't get impatient. He didn't get pissed off. He didn't get angry. He didn't get mad. Nothing. He just answered the question. And this is how, when you talk to God, you have to know how the God you serve. Another thing y'all should be writing down about Yahweh, he is patient. He's patient. I mean, truly patient. Truly patient. Chapter 19, the doom of Sodom. It was evening when the 2 angels came to Sodom. Lot was sitting at Sodom's city gate, seeing them. Lot got up to meet them and bowed down with his face to the ground. And he said, see here, my lords, please turn aside and come into your servant's house and spend the night and wash your feet, that you may get up early and go on your way. But they said, no, we shall spend the night in the open plaza of the city. However, Lot strongly urged them. So they turned aside and entered his house. And he prepared a feast for them with wine and baked unleavened bread, and they ate. But before they lay down to sleep, the men of the city, the men of Sodom, both young and old, surrounded the house, and all the men from every quarter. And they called out to Lot and said to him, where are the men who came to you tonight? Bring them out here to us, so that we may know them intimately. Whoa. Like, buddy, put a stop to this. I don't know. Start over. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? What are you on? This is nasty. I don't know what's going on here. But Lot went out the doorway to the men and shut the door after him and said, please, my brothers, please, do not do something so wicked. See here, I got 2 daughters who have not known a man. Please let me bring them out to you instead. And you can do as you please with them. Only do nothing to these men, because they have in fact come under the shelter of my roof for protection. First off, hold on, Lot. Lot, you out of pocket too. Don't do, please, please, start over, stop. But I got daughters. You can do with them as you please. Stop. Time out. Hold on. You can't just throw them in the game, bro. You can't. They are freshmen. You trying to put them on varsity. What is you doing, bro? This is nasty. But this is how wicked he like. Look, they gonna come in here one way or another. So I gotta do something. To throw your daughters out there is crazy. But they said, get out the way. And they said, this man Lot came as an outsider to live here temporarily. And now he is acting like a judge? Now we will treat you worse than your visitors. Buddy, listen, y'all not catching it. Y'all not catching it. They already said what they want to do to the visitors. He's saying they not finna give that up. So y'all already know what this about to be. This about to be some grape. He said, they basically say, if you don't move out the way, we're going to do you worse than we're going to do them. Hold on. In Jesus' name, hold on. This whole situation is out of pocket. This whole situation, Lot out of pocket, they out of pocket, all this is out of pocket. The only people that's in pocket right now, like a wallet, is the two angels. Everybody else out of pocket. I don't know what's going on here, bro. So they rushed forward and pressed violently against Lot and came close to breaking the door of his house. But the men angels reached out with their hands and pulled Lot into the house with them. And the door shut after him. They struck the men who were at the doorway of the house with blindness, from the young men to the old men, so that they exhausted themselves trying to find the doorway. And the two men angels asked Lot, have you any others here in Sodom, a son-in-law, or your sons and your daughters, whomever you have in the city, take them out of here, for we are destroying this place, because the outcry for judgment against them has grown so great before the Lord, that the Lord has sent us to destroy and ruin it. So Lot went out and spoke. Look, let me put this in context. This place, it gotta go. So get your kids. If you got son-in-laws, make sure you get your son-in-laws. Get everybody up out of here. Get your wife. Get everybody up out of here. God finna destroy all of this. All of this. We just came here to warn you, to get you up out of here, because you're the only righteous person here. So it's time to get your family. And because we love Abraham, it's because God loves Abraham. That's the main reason you being saved right now. It's because God loved Abraham. So get your family and get up out of here. So Lot went out and spoke to his sons-in-law, who were betrothed and legally promised to marry his daughters, and said, get up, get out of this place, for the Lord is about to destroy this city. But to his sons-in-law, he appeared to be joking. When morning dawned, the angels urged Lot to hurry, saying, get up, take your wife and two daughters who are here, and go, or you will be swept away in punishment of the city. But Lot hesitated and lingered. The men took hold of his hand and the hand of his wife and the hands of his two daughters, because the Lord was merciful to him for Abraham's sake. And they brought him out and left him outside the city with his family. When they had brought them outside, one of the angels said, escape for your life. Do not look behind you or stop anywhere in the entire valley. Escape to the mountains of Moab, or you will be consumed and swept away. But Lot said to them, oh no, not that place, my lords. Please listen. Your servant has found favor in your sight, and you have magnified for your loving kindness, mercy to me by saving my life. But I cannot escape to the mountains, because the disaster will overtake me and I will be killed. Now look, This town in the distance is near enough for us to flee to, and it is small, with only a few people. Please, let me escape there. Is it not small? So that my life will be saved. An angel said to him, behold, I grant you this request also. I will not destroy this town of which you have spoken. Hurry and take refuge there, for I cannot do anything to punish Sodom until you arrive there. For this reason, the town was named Zor, few, small. The sun had risen over the earth when Lot came to Zor. Then the Lord rained down brimstone, flaming sulfur, and fire on Sodom and Gomorrah from the Lord out of heaven. And he demolished, ended those cities, and the entire valley and all the inhabitants of the cities, and whatever grew on the ground. But Lot's wife from behind him foolishly, longingly looked back towards Sodom in an act of disobedience. She became a pillar of salt. She had one job. She had one job. See, this is why you got to be careful with these songs. When they're talking about look back at it, it's demonic. See, you got to catch Satan. You got to, I rebuke you, Satan. Last time one of God's people looked back, she turned into a pillar of salt. You better stop looking back at it. She had one job. Don't turn around. Don't turn around. But it's going to be somebody, it's going to be one of us. Just don't make it you. That's going to disobey God's rule, his law. God give us a law and give us a rule. What do? The exact opposite of what God said. And then we get turned into a table condiment, and now we sit over there upset. It's our disobedience. God give us a command. We do the exact opposite of what he said. And then we have to deal with the consequences afterwards. Now she gonna go good with some eggs and some pepper. You just scrape off a little bit off the hand and just put a little egg along. Abraham started out early the next morning to the place where he only the day before had stood before the Lord. And he looked down towards Sodom and Gomorrah and to all the land of the valley of the Dead Sea. And he saw, and behold, the smoke of the land went up like the smoke of killing pottery furnace. Now when God ravaged and destroyed the cities of the plain of Siddim, he remembered Abraham, and for that reason, and he sent Abraham's nephew Lot out of the midst of this destruction when he destroyed the cities in which Lot had lived. Lot is debased. Now, look, this part right here, I'm not going to lie to you. This is another decision when we decide to do something, human, decides to do something that ain't got nothing to do with God's plan. I'm just telling you, giving you a forewarning. I don't agree with this at all. Neither did Lot. But this is how it goes. Now Lot went up from Zor and lived in the mountains together with his two daughters. For he was afraid to stay any longer in Zor. And he lived in a cave with his two daughters. The firstborn said to the younger, our father is aging, and there is not a man on earth available to be intimate with us in the customary way, so that we may have children. Come, let us make our father drunk with wine, and we will lie with him, so that we may preserve our family through our father. So they gave their father wine that night, and the firstborn went in and lay with her father. And he did not know when she lay down or when she got up, because he was completely intoxicated. Listen to me. Ain't a brandy, ain't a Hennessy in the world. Ain't a bottle of Merlot or Merlot that's going to have you that drunk that you didn't slept accidentally with your own child. See, this is what I'm talking about. Start over. Start over. Y'all not catching this. Y'all see what happens when we come up with our own plans? See, y'all, you judging right now. You like, wait. Listen, you ain't no different. I'm gonna be real with you. This is what they on. They trying to protect their father's lineage. They want their father's name to continue. They just willing to do something so stupid and disgusting to do it. You just as guilty. You just as guilty. I'll put it this way. You're a person that watches pornography. You don't want to sleep with nobody. You want to be to yourself. You want to be to yourself so much that you're willing to beat it, eat your own schmeat it, eat. Thinking that's not just as mentally destroying as sleeping around with everybody. If you're watching people engage in a sexual activity and then you engage in that sexual activity while they're engaging in a sexual activity, then guess what you just did? Engage in that sexual activity. So without knowingly, you just had sex with them. You were part of it. And you don't know what that's. You don't know what you don't know what type of, you don't know if the person is underage in the video. You don't know what's going on. You don't know if the dude that's there is a pedophile. You have not a single clue. But you're watching this video, engaging in it with them. You think you any better than them? You think you any better? You around sleeping with anybody. You didn't slept with a married woman, married man. You think you any better than them? You didn't know. So what you didn't know? Lot didn't know. So what you didn't know? You think you any better? Don't judge. Don't judge. Because that's our biggest problem. We start thinking that I ain't doing that. A sin is a sin. It don't really matter to God. It really don't matter what the sin is. A sin is a sin, period. It's when we think our sin is not as bad as somebody else's sin is where we got the game messed up. Start over. That's your problem. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Understand this very clearly. They made a mistake. They made a grave mistake. This is wrong in every way, form, or fashion. Every way, form, or fashion. And it's in these situations where we have to see ourselves. Where we have to go, man, I have made some mistakes too. Jay, I see you unmuted. Go ahead, little bro.
Is this the first recorded human incest?
I'm pretty sure it's not. I'm pretty sure that there was more. There was stuff before this. This is the one that we know recorded. Yes. Recorded. Yes. This is the first one that was recorded. See, you know the lie that people are trying to tell about Noah? They're trying to make it seem like it was just Noah and his wife and then Noah and his kid. No, Noah already had a wife. He already had kids. His kids already had wives. So, you know what I mean? Like he wasn't sleeping with it. That wasn't happening. So like that never happened. I want to say this is the first recorded of incest, like a father mating with his own daughters. Like this is, and mind you, this is not a willing participant.
This ain't consensual.
This is not consensual. He did not agree to this. He is being manipulated and used.
Right.
Mind you, I want to make this very clear. Women, please understand, and I mean this with every, all we're doing is reading the word. Shout out to Avery, God Logic. We just read. What is the main thing that we're noticing here? Women, you guys come up with some great ideas. No, I'm not saying this sarcastically. I'm saying you care. You care. You care. Sarai cared about Abram. She cared to pass his lineage. She cared. Her loving nature makes her care. But it also put her into a fault where she did something she had no business doing. Eve cares about Adam. She just made a grave mistake by giving him the fruit. Now you got these two daughters that care about their father. If our decisions, ladies, if decisions are not led by God, the way that you have a caring, loving, and nurturing nature is of God. That's why you love so different than we do. You care so different than we do. You have to let every part of you be led by God. Because you will come up with things that can be detrimental. Very detrimental. So when an idea comes, pray that it is Holy Spirit led. Pray that it is God led. We have saw so far 3 women that have made decisions that have been detrimental in some way, where God has to and then fix it afterwards. Okay? Now, I ain't gonna act like Abram is good either, because he could have just said no. But he just doing whatever his wife say, slept with Haggar. So he ain't innocent either, and neither is Adam. Neither is Adam. And first of all, Lot shouldn't have got this drunk in the first place. That's all I'm saying. We gullible. That's all it is. We gullible. Fellas, we gullible. Just call it what it is, fellas. Call it what it is.
Question though.
Mm-hmm.
Was he technically raped?
Yes. Yes.
Technically, right?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Because it is very possible. Yes, it is. It is very possible. Yes. There's a good yes.
Technically.
Grape. Yes.
He was under the influence.
Yes.
Right. Right.
It's not a possible. It's factual. If they got him drunk to do that.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
He wasn't in his right mind or body.
Right. That is. Y'all are 100% right. I wasn't thinking of it like that, but y'all just, now that I think about it, yeah, it is. That sure is. That is.
He was under the influence and he was taken advantage of.
And he was taken advantage of, yes. So yes, technically yes. Yep. Then the next day, now watch, it don't get no better. Then the next day, the firstborn said to the younger, behold, I lay with my father last night. Let us make him drunk with wine tonight also. And then you go in and lay with him, so that we may preserve our families through our father. Was the first time not enough? Was that not enough? So now we got to do it a second time? We going to do it again? So they gave their father wine that night also. And the younger got up and lay with him. And again, he did not know when she laid down or when she got up. Thus both the daughters of Lot conceived by their father. The firstborn gave birth to a son and named him Moab from father. He is the father of the Moabites to this day. The younger also gave birth to a son named Ben-ammi, son of my people. He is the father of Ammonites to this day. Now, like I said, I don't agree with this at all. But yeah. Abraham's deception. You know, the reason why this
is crazy, by the way.
I know, but here's the reality.
Doubling down is crazy.
I know that this is crazy, but let's be honest here. Even in 2025, how many stories have we seen where the father has raped his own children, or uncles have raped his own nieces and nephews, aunties manipulating their own, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is not something new. This is why when the Bible says there's nothing new under the sun. I literally just saw a story like a week or two ago of a father who was raping his own daughter and got her pregnant. The mom didn't want to be with him no more. So because she looked like the mom, Satan warped his mind. And she was traumatized. Like, this is not new. This isn't something new. This is happening today. Today. Abraham's deception. Now Abraham journeyed from there toward the Negev and settled between Kadesh and Shur. Then he lived temporarily in Gerar. Abraham said again of Sarah, his wife, she is my sister. So Abimelech, king of Gerar, sent and took Sarah into for start over. She like 90 plus. She literally pushing she pushing 2 quarters, 4 dimes, and a nickel. I'm not understanding how Abraham is still giving up his wife This is what I said. When God give you a promise. See, this when I first read this, this is how I felt when I first read this. I was just so irritated by Abraham at this point. Because have you not learned your lesson yet? But this is us. This is literally us. I'm not saying to try to find yourself in this. I'm saying seek God in this. This is us, our hard-headedness. God will correct the situation and fix it, and we'll go running right back to it. He will correct it and fix it, and we'll go running right back to it. He still ain't learned yet. He's still doing the same thing he did before. You got to think about how God is looking at him going, now you got to write, angel, go down there and go fix this. He done messed up again. But God came to Abimelech in a dream during the night and said, behold, you are a dead man because of the woman whom you have taken as your wife, for she is another man's wife. Now Abimelech had not yet come near her. So what that means is he ain't did that. Lord. No, so he said, Lord, will you kill a people who are righteous and innocent and blameless regarding Sarah? Did Abraham not tell me she is my sister? And she herself said, he is my brother. In the integrity of my heart and innocence in my mind and my hands, I have done this. Then Yah said to him in the dream, yes, I know you did this in the integrity of your heart, for it was I who kept you back and spared you from sinning against me. Therefore, I did not give you an opportunity to touch her. So now, return the man's wife, for he is a prophet, and he will pray for you, and you will live. But if you do not return her to him, know that you shall die, you and all who are yours, your household. So Abimelech got up early in the morning. I'm saying he got up with the spiffiest. He put on his jacket. He was like, one of his wives in the bed was like, oh, Abimelech, where you going? Get off me, woman. Get off me. He getting up, called all of his servants and told them all these things. And the men were terrified. Then Abimelech called Abraham and said to him, what have you done to us? And how have I offended you, that you have brought on me and my kingdom a great sin? You have done to me what ought not to be done to anyone. And Abimelech said to Abraham, what have you encountered or seen in us or our customs? Would you have done this unjust thing? Abraham said, because I thought surely there's no fear or reverence of God in this place, and they will kill me because of my wife. Here we go with that again. Y'all, what made Abraham disobedient here? What was the emotion that was inflicted on him that made him disobedient? What's the emotion? I'm asking y'all in Discord. I'm asking Cord. And if you guys would like to watch this live, you guys can watch this live at 12 p.m. Pacific time every Sunday. What was the emotion, Discord, that led him to do this very thing a third time? This is the third time that he's done this. What emotion led him to do this, y'all?
Fear.
Fear. Beautiful, yes. Fear. Do y'all think? I want you to take a second and think about this. How many times have you made decisions based off fear? And then it come out and it's hurting you. Fear. You fear someone else or a situation where other people are involved in so much more than you fear God's rule and his plan for your life. So it makes you do something stupid, and then God has to fix it. Think about it. Fear. When I keep telling you guys, Satan already knows our archetype. He knows us. He's been studying us. So do you think that he don't already have a plan to inflict fear on you, knowing exactly how you are and who you are and what you like to do, where you like to be? He knows that God will put a purpose over here. So before you get there, he gonna embark fear before you get there. He trying to stop you before you can even make it to the destination. Or when you finally get there, you're not even in the right mind to be God's servant. Besides, she actually is my half sister. She is the daughter of my father Terah, but not of my mother. And she became my wife. Okay, now, all right. Now, I'll give him that. He's not lying. He didn't lie. It's not that he lied. He didn't lie. She is his sister in some way. Ill. But it still doesn't give him the right to not stand on God's promise and bring your wife with you and tell them that this is your wife. It shows a sign of weakness. Because when God, I want you to understand how important marriage is to God. Look at me and my pupils. I want y'all to understand how important marriage is to God. It's so important that everybody before him that he's tried to trick with this has cowered in fear because God has presented themselves to them, knowing sleeping with another man's wife is one of the ultimate no-nos, besides blasphemy to the Holy Spirit. This is a no. You don't do this. You don't do this. We don't do this. We don't do this right here is a no. That's how serious this is. So when we get married, this is how important it is. This is why when you see people that cheat in marriages, that marriage their life goes downhill. You have yet to see a person cheat in a marriage and their life go up. They might pretend like it is on Instagram, but let's be honest. That term, when you be seeing it, you be just seeing them, they go to shambles. Because God don't play about marriage. It is sacred to him. It is so sacred to be husband and wife. It's so sacred that whoever tries to come in between y'all, God, he said, Abimelech is so scared. He said, what have you done to us? Not me. He didn't say just me, Flo. Not just me. He said, us, all of us. You about to bring hell on everyone because of the game you playing. This is serious. This is serious. So when you see these people out here just cheating on each other in their marriages and stuff, and you wondering why their life is going like this, you remember what happened to that CEO that went to that Coldplay concert? Did y'all see him now? Woo! Lord been kicking you. I ain't gonna cap to you. But sorry, look, start over. Then to Sarai he said, so Abimelech said, behold, my land is before you. Settle wherever you please. Then to Sarah he said, look, I have given this brother of yours. See, now he ain't calling her husband. This brother of yours, 1,000 pieces of silver. It is to compensate you for all that has happened and to vindicate your honor before all who are with you. Okay? I'm showing you, look, I ain't touch you. I ain't touch you. I ain't kiss you. I ain't touch you. But I'm giving you this just in case you felt I might have looked at you in a nasty way. Lord, I'm giving her silver. And in front of everybody, I'm apologizing because I was ready to, but I didn't. Okay? But for all the men, you are cleared and compensated. So Abraham prayed to Yah, and Yah healed Abimelech and his wife and his maids. Man, this man only got wives. I know it's going to be a long conversation when he get back to his other wives. Oh, you was trying to take on that. What Sarah got on me. And his maids. And they, again, gave birth to children. You see how Yah had to step in and fix it? But because of Abimelech's obedience, because Abimelech was obedient, not only did he give Sarah back, but then he compensated them. And he didn't have to, but he did. Humble. This is him repenting, not to them, to God. He repented and he gave her back in front of everybody. He didn't do it quietly. He didn't repent quietly. When I come to y'all and I were praying, I'm not trying to make this about me. I'm just saying, when I come to y'all when I'm praying and I'm doing prayer worship before we do the Bible, that's because I go through my own stuff. So instead of me praying and repenting and asking God forgiveness privately by myself, I do it in front of y'all because I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. I do. That's how I empty my cup. That's how I give my worship and praise and repent. Abimelech is repenting for this. And God said, you know what? I know what's been going on in your house. Y'all been childbearing. So this is what I'm gonna do. It says Yah healed Abimelech and his wife and his maids, and they again gave birth to children. So God blessed them. So you got to realize that to God, currency is not wealth. Currency do you really think that wealth means something to Yah? No, I'm being for real. Imagine sitting on a throne with God got so much stuff in heaven. There's stuff that we can't possibly understand that he got. The way that his throne looks, the way that heaven looks, we couldn't possibly understand. There's not a mansion on earth that can compare to the kingdom of heaven. Not even close. Not even close. So do you really think that God cares about the contents of your wallet, of your cryptocurrency? No, I'm being honest. I'm being for real. Do you really think he cares? Do you really think he cares? Do you really think he cares about the car you drive? Do you really think he cares? I'm saying, like, when you prideful and got ego and you boastful and you full of yourself, do you think he cares? Not at all. Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. Imagine what he's sitting on. He got a throne that's got angels on it, and the angels move at light speed. Do you really think that he cares about you having your little car that's got in a couple of years gonna have a transmission problem? His angels ain't never had a transmission problem. They ain't never had bad struts. They ain't never had bad brakes. You can't put sugar in their gas tank, okay? It ain't gonna happen. What I'm saying to you is, even when we are obedient to God and we humble ourselves, no matter what social status we're at, when we ask forgiveness and we repent and we do it in a public manner, God is looking at that like, no, that is the contents of your heart that I care about. So I'm going to bless you. Remember, he said to Abraham, don't forget the promise. I'm going to bless those that bless you, and I'll curse those that curse you. God is a God, he don't lie. Did Abimelech bless Abraham and Sarah? So what did God do to Abimelech? Remember, God keeps his promises. Oh, see, y'all not hearing me. Oh, y'all not hearing me. Oh, y'all not hearing me. Oh, I love this word, bro. I love it. The word, it always come back. You go from the same verse back up and bring it back here. Oh, man, y'all playing. For the Lord had securely closed the wombs of all the women in Abimelech's household because of Sarah, Abraham's wife. Last chapter of today's study. Isaac is born. The Lord graciously remembered and visited Sarah as he had said, and the Lord did for her as he had promised. So Sarah conceived and gave birth to a son from Abraham in his old age, at the appointed time of which Yah had spoken to him. Abraham named his son Isaac. Laughter. Remember, because she laughed. The son to whom Sarah gave birth. So Abraham circumcised his son Isaac when he was 8 days old, just as God had commanded him. Remember, you can't forget about that too. So God had made a covenant with Abraham to circumcise. And even Abraham had to get a circumcision. Remember, it was just foreskin and shmeat all over, just foreskin and shmeat all over the place. They were just throwing it out. Just, hey, put it right here on the table. Foreskin and shmeat. That's all it was on the table. Sorry about that. Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born. Sarah said, God, Yah has made me laugh. All who hear about our good news will laugh with me. And she said, who would have said to Abraham that Sarah would nurse children? For I have given birth to a son by him in his old age. The child Isaac grew and was weaned, and Abraham held a great feast on that day, on the day that Isaac was weaned. Sarah turns against Haggar. Oh, shoot. See, y'all thought the baby mama drama was over. It ain't over. It ain't over. Not till he turned 18. It's still here. Now, as time went on, Sarah saw Ishmael, the son of Haggar, the Egyptian, whom she had borne to Abraham, mocking Isaac. Y'all see she ain't learned a lesson? Now, what did the angel tell her before? Go back there, be humble, cut all that out, stop doing that, be humble to your queen, and be a good servant. Here she go, mocking Isaac. How many times y'all seen baby mamas do that? Yes, am I lying? Am I lying? Am I lying? A dude try to move on with somebody else, and then the baby mama talk about the kids, be like, am I lying? Okay, so when I say to y'all, this ain't no different. All you gotta do is in your mind, let it play in your mind. Just let it play in your mind. It ain't no different. Therefore, she said to Abraham, drive out this maid and her son, for the son of this maid shall not be an heir with my son Isaac. Oh, shoot. You got to understand how Abraham feel. He didn't ask for this. He was just doing what Sarah asked. She said, I don't care if he your son or not. Get rid of him. How? Hold on now, Sarah. Hold on now. You brought this. I didn't ask for this. You asked for this. Now you want me to get rid of my son? This is your fault. You did this. Okay? Now, come on. The situation distressed Abraham greatly because of his son Ishmael. What y'all think distress mean? Don't even put distress. Just take out the word distress. Take out D-I and just leave that in there. Because he all of that. He's stressed, distressed, stressful, stressed out, stressed induced. I mean, this man, he's just trying to be a daddy. That's it. I just want to love my kids. Yah said to Abraham, don't let it distress you because of Ishmael and your maid. Whatever Sarah tells you, listen to her and do what she asks. For your descendants will be named through Isaac. And I will also make a nation of Ishmael, the son of the maid, because he is your descendant. So Abraham got up early in the morning and took bread and a skin of water and gave them to Haggar, putting them on her shoulder, and gave her the boy and sent her away. And she left, but lost her way, and wandered aimlessly in the wilderness of Beersheba. I would too. Like Where's she supposed to go? She a maiden. She not no survivalist. That's her home. That's her hometown. Where's she supposed to go? I would get lost too. She got this baby with her. Now he, she got full of herself and now she paying the price for it, but still, now she in the wilderness. It's cold, ain't no bed. Can't shower. Y'all know women like to shower. When the water in the skin was all gone, Haggar abandoned the boy under one of the bushes. She just dropped the boy off under a bush and just walked away. She said, since your daddy don't want me, I don't want you. Can I ask y'all a question? Have y'all seen anything that does not fit today's time? Oh, seriously. Have you seen anything in here that doesn't fit today's time?
Nope, because it's all still happening.
Exactly. It's all still happening today. And you have to think about, the only difference is that their stories are being written down and we can read about them. But they fit everything today. All of these fit today. You can literally tell the same story in today's time. This could be in New York, Chicago, Detroit, California, Washington, Ohio, Florida. It don't matter. This could be anywhere. Literally. This is still happening today. Then she went and sat down opposite of him, about a bow shot away. For she said, do not let me see the boy die. And as she sat down opposite of him, she raised her voice and wept. God heard the voice of the boy. And the angel of Yah called to Haggar from heaven and said to her, what troubles you, Haggar? Do not be afraid, for Yah has heard the voice of the boy from where he is resting. Get up, help the boy, and hold him by the hand, for I will make him a great nation. Then Yah opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water. And when she went and filled the empty skin with water and gave the boy a drink. Now, what's the emotion? I want you to understand this. What is the emotion right here? This right here. What's the emotion that y'all think? Put yourself in her shoes. What's the emotion that would make her leave her son? What emotion do you think that she feels right now? Soon as the water skin ran out, that's when Haggar abandoned the boy. Think about it. Soon as the water ran out. Go ahead, yes?
Would that be fear again?
Yep. Fear, frustration, sadness, loneliness. Like, when I tell y'all, you ain't got no more water, how you gonna survive? If you was in the wilderness all by yourself with a little boy, well, that sounds crazy. If you was in the wilderness all by yourself and you're a parent and you got a baby, because you gotta say that nowadays, people, you gotta start that over. And you run out of water and food. You don't know where you going. Do you really want to sit there and watch your child pass away in your arms? No, I'm asking. Would you? You have no means to take care of them. You have no food. You don't know how to survive in the wilderness. You're out there by... Some of y'all have been in the woods by yourself and was terrified and wasn't out there long. So imagine being sent out. You look back and see the city, the home you were from, you can't go there no more. You see the lights is on, they probably partying because of Isaac. You can hear the music. And you all the way in the wilderness and don't know where you're going. trees, bushes, brush, grass, and you hearing stuff. Ooh. How would you feel? How would you feel? I'm saying, stop reading this like it's just like this is some like special book. This book is literally, it's no different than us. She's in the wilderness. I've been in my backyard and been scared before. I saw something that was crazy in my backyard. So imagine being in the whole wilderness. That's a different ballgame. You in the wild with coyotes, wild dogs, wild animals, spiders, snakes, bugs, stuff that could bite you, and I'm just saying cripple you. You can't even move. You out there by yourself. You best believe as soon as that water ran out, first question she asked herself was, how? What am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to take care of this baby? How am I supposed to do this by myself? How am I gonna do this alone? No, for real. Stop reading this word like you wouldn't be in this, you wouldn't do the same thing. She looking around, ain't no water. Ain't no food. She don't hunt. She don't hunt. She's not a hunter. So how's she supposed to eat? And then how's she supposed to feed the baby? She's not out there making forest fires, campfires. See, y'all got to put yourselves in her shoes. God was with Ishmael, and he grew and developed, and he lived in the wilderness and became an expert archer. He lived in the wilderness of Paran, and his mother took a wife for him from the land of Egypt, covenant with Abimelech. Now, at that time, Abimelech and Phicol, the commander of his army, said to Abraham, God is with you in everything you do. So now, swear to me here, by Yah, that you will not deal unfairly with me by breaking the agreements we have, or with my son, or with my descendants. But as I have treated you with kindness, you shall do the same to me into the land in which you have sojourned. Meaning, a sojourner could be somebody that is a traveler that is staying at a place for a limited time, a certain amount of time. He's not from there, he's a foreigner, and he just happened to be staying there for a little while. And Abraham said, I will swear. Then Abraham complained to Abimelech about a well of water which the servants of Abimelech had violently seized from him. Abimelech said, I don't know who did this thing. Indeed, you did not tell me, and I did not hear of it until today. So Abraham took sheep and oxen and gave them to Abimelech. And the two men made a covenant binding agreement. Do you notice that they're not giving each other Rolls Royces or cars or money? I'm being funny. But you know they're not giving each other gold or silver. They're giving each other like sheep and oxen because that has way more value. It has way more value. If I give you sheep and oxen, right? Let's say I give you, at that time, let's say somebody gives you 30 sheep. You know, sheep got multiple uses. You take 30 sheep and you have those sheep reproduce. Now you have cotton. You got, not cotton, but like linens. You got linen. You also got meat and food. I heard deep fried sheep pretty good. So they got all types of stuff. Now you go from 30 sheep to about 70, almost 80 sheep. Just because you got 30 sheep. And then some oxen, you get some oxen. Oxen help you to do a whole bunch of stuff. Help you to pull things, all type of stuff. They put them on caravans. They do a whole bunch of stuff with oxen. You do a lot with them. So imagine you get 25 oxen. And you had those reproduce with each other. Now you go from 25 oxen to 80 oxen. You just came up on some sheep and oxen. You see the value here? So imagine if you had, right now in today's time, imagine if somebody came to you and said, hey, I'm about to give you 25 sheep. I'm gonna give you 13 males, 12, I'm gonna give you 13 males, 12 females. You have those sheep mate. Now you got 60 sheep. Now you take the sheep and now you have stuff for linens. You have stuff for clothes, materials for clothes. And now you sell that to somebody that needs to make stuff. They're like, hey man, I'm trying to work out a deal where I can get somebody where I can get like fresh linens. Not from, I tried over there, but I heard about this, man. I'm trying to work out a deal. And then you keep making those sheep mate. Now you got 100. Now you got 150. Now you got 200. And now you got a whole program of just getting the stuff of the fur, the cloth off the sheep, bag it up, wash it, prepare it, send it out. And now you sending that to a whole designing company that got their own fresh stuff. You see how valuable that is? Think about it. That's just livestock. That's more valuable than gold. It's way more valuable than gold. This is why when you see them trading animals, why is it so important to trade animals? Because it has more value. You can do a lot more with it. I'm just only giving y'all clothing. There's so much more you can do with sheep and stuff. I'm just giving y'all just the bare minimum of what I had. And the two men made a covenant binding agreement. Then Abraham set apart 7 ewe lambs of the flock. And Abimelech said to Abraham, what is the meaning of these 7 ewe lambs which you have set apart? Abraham said, you are to accept these 7 ewe lambs from me as a witness for me that I dug this well. Therefore, that place was called Beersheba, whether the oath or whether the 7, because there the two of them swore an oath. So they made a covenant at Beersheba. Then Abimelech and Phicol, the commander of his army, got up and returned to the land of the Philistines. Abraham planted a tamarisk tree at Beersheba, and there he called on the name of the Lord in prayer, the eternal God. And Abraham lived as a resident alien in the land of the Philistines for many days. And that right there is where we conclude today's Bible study. Now, what have we really learned from today's Bible study? This Bible study was really about our decisions. It's really about our decisions. This one is about our decision making. Look at the decisions that we make. Let's go all the way back to almost the beginning, right? First Abraham is presented by the angels, right? By the Lord and the angels. 3 show up. 3 people show up to his house. He sees him. He recognizes immediately this is the Lord. He starts running in there, gets some stuff together, blah, 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 cooking up something. But he's not there for Abraham. He's just passing through because that's how much the Lord loves us. Because if he's going to be in that area, he's going to see about his people. He loved him enough to go see about him, just to let him know what's going on. Because he made him a promise. Because God's keeping his word. And he made him a promise. So he's telling him what is about to happen. But because he's about to do this, he's about to bring Lot out. Like, look, I'm about to go get Lot. Because that's your nephew. And because I made a promise to you, and I made an oath to you, and I love you enough, my favor on you is going to pass down to Lot. I'm just telling you what's going on. And so Abraham started asking him questions like, well, what if it's only what if it's 40 people over there? Would you still do it? He said, if it's 40, I ain't going to do it. He said, what about 35? 35, I ain't going to do it. 20, I ain't going to do it. 15, I won't destroy him. What about 10, Lord? Would you destroy it if it's only 10? He said, I won't even destroy him if it's 10. We find out first that God is a God of patience. He's a God that listens. He knows we have questions. He never belittles us or makes us feel stupid about asking questions. So he's a God that we're supposed to go to when we don't understand, when we want to know more about him. So stop feeling afraid to ask God questions. Ask him questions. He never lost patience. He just allowed for him to ask the questions and he answered. Then we learned that Lot was out of pocket, Period. I don't care what you say. Lot was out of pocket getting up his daughters. That ain't gonna happen. Because if you come to my house, I'm grabbing that thing and somebody ain't gonna make it home. You ain't getting my daughters, you ain't getting my dogs. Somebody ain't gonna make it home. But he was willing to give up his own daughters to protect the angels. The men, old and young, wanted to grape the angels. They saw them, they wanted them, and said, come out here. We want that butt. That's out of pocket. That's out of pocket. That's man. Our decisions. Our decisions. We're so caught up in our own sexual immorality that they were willing to grape two people because of them being attractive. They didn't care. And then threatened Lot, said, hey, if you don't give them up, we gonna do you worse than what we gonna do to them. That is crazy. Like, I don't even think you heard what you just said. Fast forward, we make another decision. Lot's wife decides to turn around after the angels were very specific and said, do not turn around. Don't look back at it. Hey, don't do that. Not here. And what happens? She turned around and got turned into iodized salt. Then another decision is made by us. Lot don't want to live in that city of Zor no more. He go to a cave with his two daughters. His two daughters decide, hey, you know what? Daddy getting old. His lineage gonna fall if we don't do something. Here what we gonna do, little sis. This is the older sister saying this. We gonna get him drunk and we gonna make sure he don't know nothing that's going on. And we gonna get pregnant by him. Now here's my question. Who gave them that stupid idea? At no point has God ever said, yes, I want you to do incest. It's not a single point where he has ordained it. Not a single point. But they decide, let's have sex with our dad. So then they give birth. Now here's another question that I'm surprised nobody asked. When did Lot figure out, okay, ain't no men around? So when did his mind go, wait, hold on, how are they pregnant? How is this possible? Ain't no men around but me. That question had to have popped up at some point. Had to. But we'll leave that for another day. Here goes another decision that we make. So Sarah is upset at Haggar. She's so upset because Haggar decides to mock Isaac. I'm skipping over some stuff because y'all already know. I'm just skipping over to the parts that I want. She decides to mock, actually go back one more. Abraham decides to do the same mistake again that he already previously made, that God had to correct. He does it again, a third time. Sends Sarah to be another man's wife and tells that man that that's my sister. And then God has to go fix it because of Abraham's fear. The two daughters, because of their fear of their father's lineage passing on and them not being able to be married, because remember, at that time, you have to be given to marriage. You have to be given in marriage. Your dad got to say, okay, you can marry my daughter, stuff like that. So instead of them doing that, no, they decide, you know what? Our fear is greater than anything else. So we're going to do this because of the fear. Here goes second fear. Abraham's so afraid that he decides to give his wife up as a sister. Abimelech trying to take his wife and make it his wife. And make it his wife. God came to him in a dream and was like, playboy, it's over if you don't get that woman back. I'm saying, no, listen to me. It's over, Renard. It's over. Everything. Your women can't even have children no more because you got this woman. give that woman back to her husband. Abimelech woke up from that dream, put on his whole jumpsuit, and was like, whoo. He ain't never got dressed that fast in his life. That man didn't even brush his teeth. He said, what have you done to us? Because of a decision out of fear. Not out of power, love, and of a sound mind, but fear. God does not give us the spirit of fear. This is why he made Abraham a promise before that. I will curse those that curse you and bless those that bless you. And I will turn you into a great nation. Do you think he could turn him into a great nation if he's dead? You know, I'm pretty sure you didn't think about that part, did you? How could he turn him into a great nation if Abraham is dead? So do you think God would let something happen to Abraham? Uh-oh. But when we don't listen to God and we don't pay attention to God and we try to do things our way, we come up with our own plans and we get other people messed up. He said, why did you do this to us? Not me, us. We didn't do nothing to you. I've been good to you, bruh. Last decision. Haggar decides, you know what? I'm going to decide to mock Isaac. That was the decision. And so Sarah, so mad, she said, kick her out. I don't want her here no more, not around my son. She done. Finito. Finished. You get out of here now, Abraham. Abraham was so stressed out, he said, man, look. All right, Haggar, here, take this bag of water. I love you, son, but you can't stay here because your mama being ignorant. She go out to the wilderness, and because of her fear, she ran out of water, don't have no food, don't have no shelter, don't have nowhere to lay, no covering or anything. She said, man, I'll just lay this baby here, bro. And she went over her way and just went to go cry and let the baby die. And what did God do? God came over there and fixed it again. And opened her eyes and said, there's some water right there. You right next to your blessing and don't even know it. The very thing that you need, you right next to it. But you're so caught up in your own stuff, you can't even see it. It's right there. Abraham and Sarah, your blessing is right here. You don't even need to do all of this baby stuff. Your